Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, January 30th, 2019. It's been a while since I vlogged. Last week was just really kind of crazy. I never had time to pull out the camera and sit and talk. It was just, I felt like I was go, go, go all week. And then the beginning of this week has just been, I just haven't had time. So it's Wednesday. As I said, for those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Kelly. I'm a second grade teacher in California. And yeah, so today is our short day because of collaboration, and it's going to be a sort of interesting day. We have an assembly, not first thing in the morning, but right in the middle of our language arts block. It's a fundraiser assembly, which is my least favorite kind of assembly because the guy comes in and he's really good at getting the kids all excited about the prizes, and all they can talk about is the prizes, and they don't understand, at least at the second grade level, that in order to earn the prizes they have to sell things. And we get back to the class and they're like, what do I need to do? How I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that. And I'm like, well, you know you need to sell the cookie dough in order to get the prize. He's like, what cookie dough? So they kind of miss the point of the assembly, and they just are super excited, and it's just, I don't know, it just makes me uncomfortable, the whole thing. So that's going to be right in the middle of our language arts block, which we're already a little bit behind because on Monday we didn't finish the story, and I meant to finish the story in the afternoon and I totally forgot. And so we finished the story yesterday, and we were just doing basic ask and answer questions and to show comprehension of the story. And we need to work on story structure. And I actually got off Teachers Pay Teachers. Let me get what I got. So off Teachers Pay Teachers from Emily Education, I got these ties, and it's Mr. Tannen's Tie Trouble story structure. That's the story of the week, and we're doing story structure. And on all the ties, all the pages, there's a different aspect. So there's the setting, where they draw a little picture of the setting and then they write what the setting is. The characters, so I guess they'll draw, you know, at least Mr. Tannen, and maybe I guess another character that comes up a lot is Mrs. Sweet Apple or Mr. Apple, and then they'll write who the characters are. They'll write about the problem. I guess they'll draw about the problem too, but I'm not quite sure how to draw what the problem is, although it's a broken playground, so I guess they could draw a playground. And then the solution to the problem. So I thought that was really cute. I saw another teacher on campus had that, so I tracked it down on Teachers Pay Teachers and purchased that, and I'm very pleased with my purchase. There are a few other activities in there. I hope I'm going to be able to get to those activities during the week. I wasn't able to photocopy them, and you know, because today we're going to be behind, we'll probably won't end up doing writing, so we could catch up on language arts, but you know, we'll see. For all I know, I'll forget that I need to do that, and then we'll just run it into Friday. But we've got that, and then in math we are taking our formative assessment on subtracting 2-digit numbers, which I don't anticipate is going to take super long. I'm going to have to pull a couple of kids because I have like 3 kids who can do it perfectly fine, but they need me to sit there and watch them. And I'm not quite sure why, but they do a lot better if they're sitting in front of me than if they're doing it on their own. And I'm not helping them, I'm not telling them, I'm not reminding them. One of them I have to remind because she's not counting. Like she will do all the work right, and then there'll be like 5 ones left, and she'll count them and she'll write 6. So her, I am saying go back and count again, because it's all right, the work is right, it's just she's not counting right, so she just needs to go and count more carefully. But the other ones, it's just a matter of me sitting and watching them do it, and them having that accountability. So that shouldn't take super long, and then after that we're probably going to play a math game called Math Subtraction Battle, which is basically war, but only they flip 2 cards over, they subtract the numbers, and then whoever has the biggest difference wins the cards. So we're going to do that. We're learning about pronouns this week in grammar. Today I believe we're learning about reflexive pronouns, and I don't know if we're going to have a chance to do writing, but we're still doing research reports, and most of them are starting to do their own research where they're getting books on their own, they're reading them, and they're writing notes. So that's where we are right now. So I will catch up with you later, and yeah, so I'll catch up with you later. Hey everybody, it is now Thursday, January 31st. I never had a chance to vlog again yesterday. The lunch went by really quickly, and then after school we had our grade level collaborations, and then I had to jet off because I had to go to a training, so I just never had time to pick up the camera again. The day went really well. We did our formative assessment in math, which went really well. So we're just concentrating on subtracting 2-digit numbers with and without regrouping, using various strategies, but the kids are really leaning heavily. They really like the strategy of draw a picture. I showed them open number line. We talked about breaking apart numbers and using number lines to jump back, but they really just prefer and get it when they draw a picture, and I'm not going to fight them on that because that's the strategy that works. So we took the test. It took almost the entire time that we had for math, which I was a little bit surprised because it wasn't that long of a test, but I did have to have a few kids, like I had a few kids who just had absolutely insane answers that I didn't understand where they got those answers from, so I had to come back and do it for me, and then they were able to do it successfully. So it was just, they just weren't concentrating on what they're doing. A lot of them needed to be coached on the question that was like 60 minus 14, because they're like, well, there's no, they weren't drawing the picture, and they'd be like, oh, well, I need to take away 4 ones, so I must have 4 ones left, and instead of regrouping. So that one I did have to coach quite a few students on. But yeah, overall that went well. We didn't have time to do writing. We just went in because we didn't have anything in the morning because of the assembly. Assembly was kind of cool just because one of the things that they have as a prize is they pull kids up, and if they sell a certain amount of things, they get to spin a wheel, and the wheel has different dollar amounts. So he asked, you know, how many do you need to sell to get this? And a first grader got that question right, and so he went up and he spun, and he actually won $50, and he was just so, oh my gosh, so expressive in his excitement over it. It was really, really cute. So that was neat. But I still overall didn't like the assembly. But you know, we're doing the fundraiser. Hopefully some kids will raise money and we'll have enough, because when we go on our field trip, we're thinking of trying to purchase shirts, and we have just enough for the bus. It came out to like they gave us an estimate, and then what they're actually charging us is less than the estimate is. So we have enough for the bus with some left over, but we want more. So we're hoping that we'll have enough to purchase shirts for everyone, so we're matching. Anyway, so yesterday we worked on our problem and solution ties, our story structure ties. We got through characters and setting, and then today we just finished that up. And then they're drawing their pictures and coloring their ties, and so we're done with that. I'm going to give them a little bit of time to work on it tomorrow, and then I'm also going to, from the same person, I got these homograph books, homograph word books. We went over homographs today, and they were like not very engaged in the lesson. They did well on the practice book page, but I want to hit it again. So we're going to do the book. So we're just going to take a word, and then we're going to draw a picture to show the 2 different definitions, or 2 of the different definitions. So we're going to do that tomorrow. We're going to finish coloring our books. Our ties. We're going to do a little bit of comprehension, just straight up comprehension on the story, close reading. And what else? Yeah, so we're going to have ELD right now. We're working on LCAP. LCAP is the big test that they test language learners and English language learners to see how they're progressing every year. And I found a packet that I had made last year of the writing skills, and I was like, oh, I should do this with this kids, because I didn't get a chance to do it last year, because it was like we were told, oh, we're going to do this test, and then almost a week later we did the test, so I didn't get to do enough review. So I did the writing portion, and this is very clearly an area that we need to do a lot of practice on, because they really, really struggled with it. So I found something on Teachers Pay Teachers that mimics the test, So every Tuesday and Thursday we're going to do LPAC practice until the test is over, just to sort of get them into that groove. So that's what we're doing. Then we'll do math, go to lunch, grammar and writing, and then we're doing science today, and then RTI. And so I will catch up with you probably after school. See you then. Hey everybody, it's the end of the day. The rest of the day went fairly well. With math, we were rewriting two-digit subtraction from being horizontal to vertical, and this kids, there was a few missteps at the very beginning, but overall they really picked that up quickly. There was a lot of practice problems for them to do, so not all of them even got finished with the first page. So I just checked where they were, and I'm not, like, the last couple of practice pages I've had them, we've stretched out to 2 days, but this I was like, you know what, as long as they're getting it right, I know that they understand the skill, I don't need to stretch this lesson to 2 days. It's just too much. So tomorrow we're going to do adding, counting up to subtract, or adding to subtract, whatever it's called. And then next week we're going to review and test, and then we're moving on to solving 1- and 2-step word problems using subtraction, which is going to be interesting because next week I am going to be out in the morning 2 days. We have our principal has us take half days to do grade level planning, so we're planning out the essential standards that we're teaching in math and in language arts for the rest of the trimester. Normally, ideally, we should have done this closer to the beginning of the trimester, but that just didn't happen. Well, we were supposed to go a couple of weeks ago, but that ended up not happening. So now they're doing the second round for all the teachers. So we are doing it twice. We're doing it Wednesday and then on Friday. And then to top it off, on Thursday, I have to leave early because I have an appointment. So it's going to be an interesting week. There's going to be a lot of substitute and trying to get the substitute to teach these lessons because I have to get them in, and I don't want to hold them for when I'm there, if you know what I mean. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I will, just because I want these lessons to be taught a certain way. So I have one thing I need to do. I need to do the homograph book, put that together. I think I'm just going to cut them out and I'm going to staple them tomorrow. And then I am done for the day. I've made all my copies and I'm ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up. Came in or knocked on the door while I was doing that. She didn't seem to notice the camera, which is fine. I don't know what I would have said. I don't know what I would have said if she had asked, but she didn't. So I got them cut out and stapled. I just need to fix this one. I was thinking it would be cute to do like a little flip book, but it works better as a regular book. So that is all set up for tomorrow, and yeah, so I'm praying it doesn't rain tomorrow because I just don't want to deal with the rain. But if it does, I'll be fine. We'll get through it. It'll be all good. It's it could be worse. It could be snow. I could be going through the big chill that everybody else back east is going through. So yeah, so wrapped up today, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye. Hello everybody, it is Friday, February 1st, and it is actually the end of the day. It was a packed day. I had no time to vlog today at all. So the day went really well. It was a lot of sort of kind of filling in work, especially in the morning. We did our homograph book, which turned out really well. We did, I think, 4 words. We did present, so I drew, and they knew what it was from yesterday, so I drew, you know, present, and then a girl saying I'm here. We did pupil, which they knew it was part of an I. They didn't know that it also meant a student, so I went over that with them. I guess we only did 3 words. And then we did ring, and they knew that it meant something that it went on your finger. And then people were saying, well, like a phone rings or a bell rings. I was like, yeah, a bell. So we drew a bell. And then I gave them time to color that, and then I gave them time to finish their Mr. Cannon's ties. So I was going to hang those up, but so many of them didn't get a chance to color the front or decorate the front that it's just, it doesn't look all that spectacular. So I think I'm just going to send those home with the students. Math went really, really well. We did adding to subtract. And we used a number line, and I showed them, because usually what I do is I just have them, okay, if it's 35 minus 22, we start on 22 and then we count up by ones till we get to 35. But what the book wanted them to do was to jump to 30 and then jump to 35 and then add those 2 numbers. And that's what I taught them to do, and they got it. So all those years where I was like certain that kids wouldn't get it, I was so totally wrong. Then we did a science experiment after lunch where we were given a straw, a paintbrush, and a cotton swab, and a piece of paper, a piece of construction paper, and we dipped each of the objects into paint, and then we drew a line. And we first talked about the physical properties of each one, which was kind of hard because this program has them jump into experiments using the vocabulary without actually teaching them the vocabulary. So they didn't really know what physical properties were. So it was a lot of me guiding them with what that meant. So we did that. And of course, what the experiment was supposed to do was we were supposed to figure out that the best thing to paint with is the paintbrush, because it will draw the longest line, because it has bristles, it absorbs the paint the best, they're flexible, blah, blah, blah. That is not what happened. What happened was, for me and for a lot of the other students, the cotton swab actually made the longest line. And then I actually had some students who made the straw make a long line as well, but I know for a fact that they did not do, because it was, you were supposed to dip it in and then draw the line on the paper until it stopped painting, and then you were supposed to stop. And I know they went back and kept drawing because I could see where they had picked it up and gone back over. So that was a little frustrating. It was a lot today of kids not listening and not following directions. It was a lot of that. So it was I was very stressed in that regard. But we got through this science experiment. We discussed the physical properties again. We discussed why it worked out the way it did. We discussed why maybe the cotton swab was better than our brushes that we had, because I guess it was just a wider surface, I think. And I gave them thin paint brushes because I didn't have thick paint brushes. But maybe I should look into buying thick paint brushes for the future. But so we did that. We got ready for Eagle Store. We did Class Dojo. Then we came back. We worked on typing skills, which, man, not this week, but last week we had a district-wide grade level meeting, and a lot of the teachers were talking about how, oh, we shouldn't be teaching them, letting them on the iPads longer than maybe a half an hour, and using these specific programs, which are really good and developmentally appropriate, and teaching kids how to type at this age is really bad. And this is like all going through my head, and I understand the arguments, I really do, and I don't entirely disagree with them, but at the same time, in 3rd grade, they're expected on the Smarter Balanced assessments, they're expected to type answers, and they are not doing that because they don't know keyboarding skills. So not teaching them because it's not developmentally appropriate is not going to help them next year when they're expected, where it's still not developmentally appropriate perhaps, where they're expected to actually type. So I'm doing keyboarding skills. It's been requested by the principal that we do it for a half an hour a week. So maybe I'm ruining the kids' lives, but hopefully I'm not. And I'm being a little facetious there. I don't think I'm ruining the kids' lives. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. And then we went to our Eagle Store, we made purchases, and yeah, and then we wrapped up. I did have a student all day today. He's been telling me it's his last day. He's going back to his old school, and I again took it with a grain of salt. I'm going to be sad to miss you, but you still need to follow the rules. And we went to Eagle Store. He's like, well, I'm going to save my money. I was like, but you said you're not going to be here. He's like, yeah, I know, but I'm still going to save it. And then he came right back into the classroom. He's like, I'm just going to recycle this. I was like, I hope that you're right. And it turns out he is right. The attendance clerk
got an email yesterday saying he's going back to his old school. So that's sad. I'm going to miss him. He, like I said, there were some things that he did that it was like, ugh, like when he would groan and make other kids and get other kids thinking it was okay to groan when I took something out. But that hasn't happened in a while, and he was really bright and he was very personable, and I'm sad to lose him. Plus, that means I might get another student, and I don't like the, what's it called, the merry-go-round or whatever, or fair, I don't know what it is, but we get a student, we lose a student, we get a student, we lose a student, and it's like I can't keep this student, this one student, and it's yeah, so it always seems like I get a student and then I lose that same student. It's not like I get a student and I'm losing a different student, so I can't get accustomed to everything. So, but on the other hand, I'm back at 24 students and I like having even numbers, so that's good. So that was my very short week. It also did not rain today. It started to rain at the very end of the day, but that was perfect for me. So I was really glad. I am very glad that it's the weekend. I am going to go home. I'm going to rest. It's going to be a great weekend. I get to go see a play this weekend. The only problem is it's supposed to rain on the way and it's an hour drive and I hate driving in the rain, but that's fine. I get to go see a play this weekend. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it and have a wonderful day.